This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm joined by Swedish heavyweight Otto Wallin over Zoom. Otto, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, mate. It's good to catch up. It's been a while. What have you been up to since we last spoke? It's been a couple of months.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I can't remember when I talked to you last, but maybe after the Brazil fight.
Yep.
Yeah. So since then, had a couple of weeks off. Now I'm training full time, so get it in twice a day, and yeah, enjoying New York City as much as I can.
Talk to me about that, Otto. Obviously, living in New York, how much do you get the chance to kind of go out and, I say sightseeing? If you're living there, it's not the same, but do you get to go out and see the sights and enjoy it?
Yeah, a little bit. Like I said, I mean, I'm usually training, but when I'm not, I try to take some time out, go to some nice restaurants and catch up with friends. Last weekend, went about 20 of us went paintball, so that was pretty fun.
Listen, I'm very jealous of that because I love paintballing myself. But moving on to boxing talk, Otto, a lot of shows being announced, a lot of upcoming fights to look forwards to. But with regards to yourself, have you had anything kind of in the pipeline? Any negotiations?
Yeah, we're working on a fight for mid-July. We haven't got any opponents yet, but be on Showtime, so we see. I don't know so much right now.
Do you have any idea on what types of opponents you're looking at, or what names you would like to consider?
I mean, I would expect somebody a little better than Brazil. So, yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of guys out there, but it's a pretty high level. So I think it'd be good.
When we last spoke, Otto, one name you mentioned was Charles Martin. Do you think he'd be somebody whose hat you could throw into the ring in a potential fight?
Yeah, for sure. I know he's highly ranked too, so I think that would be a good fight for me. Yeah.
Stylistically, Otto, what would you expect from Charles, and how would you expect your styles to clash or to gel?
I mean, two southpaws,
Yeah.
and honestly, I think that would be to my advantage because I've sparred a lot of southpaws over the years. And when I was living in Denmark, I had one of the sparring partners was a southpaw, so I'm kind of used to that. So I like that. Maybe he's done the same, who knows? But I think that could be a good fight. I think that I would have the advantage. I think I'm better than him, so I have to take advantage of that, of course.
Also, obviously, there's a lot of heavyweight fights to discuss. Well, a couple coming up this weekend, which trying to get your thoughts on as well. Andy Ruiz Jr. returns against Ruiz-Arreola. What are your thoughts on their bout, Otto?
I think it's a good fight for Andy. I mean, they say he's been training good, so we see in the fight. But I mean, I expect him to stop Arreola. To be honest, I think he will, and it'll be interesting to see him come back and see how he looks.
Once again, would somebody like an Andy Ruiz Jr. be of interest to yourself? Obviously, beyond that, when he fights Arreola and beyond your next date, would he be somebody you'd be interested in potentially sharing a ring with?
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, I think that Andy is one of the best. So if that could be for like an eliminator or something, that would be great. I think a fight like that should be for something like that.
We know with Andy, he's got very fast hands, and we've seen him starting to trim down since he's joined up with Eddie Reynoso, lost some weight. With him returning now, what are you expecting to see from him against Ruiz-Arreola? The improvements, what do you think everybody should expect to see?
They're talking a lot about his defense and his upper body movement and stuff, but I honestly think that he's always had that. I think he's got a pretty nice style. He moves his head well, and I think he's got a lot of tools. And I mean, he showed it with Joshua, so I think maybe we see how much he's improved. Everybody's talking about him losing weight and all that, so we see. It's hard to judge from a video clip or pictures. So we see in the weigh-ins and in the fight.
Otto, another big heavyweight fight happening over here in the UK. Derek Chisora versus Joseph-Parker. Just to gain your thoughts on their affair.
I think that could be a good fight. Honestly, I was thinking about it before you called now, and who's gonna win. Honestly, I'm not sure. I might be leaning towards Parker, but I think it's gonna be a really good fight. Could be fan friendly, and Chisora, he's always in there to fight. So I think it could be a good fight, but probably leaning towards Parker.
Something I was going to ask you, we know with Derek, he loves to come forwards. He's all action. He's robust. Joseph, very fast hands, good mover. Is this a fight which you just expect to kind of catch fire? It should be a very entertaining one for the fans.
I would think so. I think so. I didn't watch much of Parker and Junior Fa, but from what I saw, it was a lot of clinching and stuff. So we see, but like you said, Chisora, he always comes to fight, and sometimes styles makes fights also. So it might be easier for Parker to put on a more fan-friendly fight in this one because he has Chisora in front of him.
How easy can it be, Otto, for boxing fans or just fans in general to look back on one result or one performance and criticize that performance and expect to see something similar in the next one? So with regards to Joseph versus Junior Fa, he received a lot of criticism from that fight. How easy would it be for people to overlook him heading into the Chisora one?
I think that could be easy. Sometimes they say in boxing that you're only as good as your last fight. And like I said, styles make fights. So, it could be a completely different guy in here now. And I know he's changed trainer. I'm not sure how much they're going to do, to improve him in such a short amount of time. But we see. I think that, some styles are just hard to look good against. And like I said, I didn't watch much of that fight, but from what I watched, it didn't look fantastic. But Chisora, he is a kind of firefighter, and he likes to brawl. So I would think it's going to be a good fight.
A fight on a smaller scale, which is a while away yet. Daniel Dubois is going to face Bogdan Dinu for the WBA interim world title. I just want to get your thoughts on that fight, firstly, and secondly, the fact that it's going to be for the interim title.
Yeah, I only seen Bogdan Dinu when he fought Jarrell Miller and Cobra Pulev, I think. Pulev. I think it's a good fight for Daniel to come back on. Not that Dinu is a slouch either. He's solid, but Dubois should beat him. I think he will, and probably stop him also. For it to be for a title, I don't know. I'm not sure what Dinu has done lately, but Dubois, he was looking really good. Then he lost, but he can come back, of course, and do better. I think that maybe it looks a little suspicious that it's for a title, but I don't know what's been done there, but whatever. I honestly think that Daniel's gonna come back and do good.
Otto, there's always a lot of talk about the amount of titles in boxing. What do you make of it? Do you think there's too many? Do you think there's enough? How would you assess the amount of titles within the sport?
I think that for me, that's a huge boxing fan, and I'm in boxing. I think that I have no problem with it. For people that's not as involved as I am, it might be hard to keep up with everything. And, they see this world champion, that world champion. And I think for us boxers, we pretty much know who's the real champion in a sense. And that's hard for people to keep track of, I think. It might be good for boxing to have just one champion also. There's two ways to look at it. It's either that, and it's good for the fans and everybody that we have one champion and only one champion. On the other side, it can be good with more titles because it gives more people opportunities and to make money and become a world champion. So it's two sides of it, and I'm a little torn apart there. I don't really think about it too much.
And then Otto, just one final one I want to get your thoughts on. Down at super middleweight, May 8th, Saul Canelo Alvarez, Billy Joe Saunders. A lot of talk about that fight. Billy Joe, very slick mover. Canelo, one of the best boxers in the world. Can't really think of the words to sum him up. But What are your thoughts on is Billy Joe the man who will overcome the pound for pound king?
I think it's going to be very difficult. I think it's, Canelo is one of the best. And I think he's very good. Saunders is good too. But I think he's in for a tough fight. Anything could happen. But I think that Canelo is going to beat him.
Otto, I appreciate your time this evening. I want to leave a final word to yourself for all of your fans, your followers, everybody who supported you throughout your career. What would you like to say to them?
Well, I would like to say big thanks to everybody that supported me. And I mean, it means a lot. It's nothing better than getting all that support after all the hard work we put in. So thanks to everybody, and stay tuned. Maybe fight in July.
Otto, it's a pleasure to catch up with you. I look forward to your next announcement, but I'm sure I'll speak to you again before then. Thank you for your time, and thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.